府归中央人民政府今天成立了。
但是你们难道
刚才也问我，我可以回半点去，无可奉告，我也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到，一定要做好准备。
是。
干死共产党！干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Exposing the CCP. And good to see you again, also Chris and Mr. Truth. And we're going to discuss something probably could be one of the most important news in a lifetime. And because we're in a very, very transitional world and watershed because of the CCP's threat. And we're going to discuss about the financial stability and the CCP's infiltration program. So good to see you, Chris. Hi, Chris. Hi, Mr. Truth.
Hi Z, it's nice to be on the show again today. Thank you.
Hi Z and Chris Flower, it's good to be on the show, and we're going to talk about something very urgent and important. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, let's talk about it. You know, recently the precious metal price have skyrocketed, like almost doubled in the past year or so, and the gold has reached historical high of about $4,400 per ounce, you know, compared to about $2,000 a couple of years ago. And silver also increased like only 30% in the past couple of months. And why is that? So we're going to look at the news that the Tucker had a really good program and interview, and his information exactly matches what Miles Guo has exposed a few years ago in his program. And if this becomes a reality, everybody in the world, including not just the Federal Reserve and all the central banks, but everybody need to worry about their own financial stability. Can we survive this crisis if CCP's program may be even halfway successful? So let's check out the video and we'll be right back and discuss.
Gold and silver prices are out of control. Have you seen this? Have you checked the spot price for gold? It is at an all-time high in world history. Why is that? Well, because it's the new global reserve currency. That's why. Countries are moving away from the dollar, and they're doing that because our national debt is exploding. The dollar has been used as a diplomatic weapon. And in general, confidence, we say this with great sadness, in our financial system is collapsing. People know something is wrong and they're looking for safety, and gold and silver, but precious metals broadly, have been a reliable store of value since the beginning of recorded history. And people know that. They're tangible. They can hold in their hands what they own. And in moments like this, they want to. So gold is more important than it's ever been. No, it's not an ancient phenomenon. It's a very modern phenomenon. And for the time being, it's the future. So we were not surprised when multiple gold companies reached out to offer us money, in one case, nearly $20 million a year, to pitch their products. And we're totally for it. We love gold. We've always felt that way about gold. So why would we work for a gold company? But $20 million to market gold? Wait a second. Isn't gold a commodity whose price is set on the international market? Can't you check it anytime you want on your phone? How could these companies afford to spend $20 million on one guy for 1 year of selling their product? Well, the answer is obvious, because it was a total scam. They weren't selling gold as a commodity. They were selling it to customers based on the promise that it had real value, but they were selling it for like twice its actual value. They were come up with gimmicky schemes like, oh, it's a commemorative coin. No. Gold is a commodity. And almost all of the time, the value of your gold coin is the weight of the gold in it. It's not whatever image is printed on the coin. So they're ripping people off. And what was happening, what is happening right now, is that people, a lot of them old people, are buying these commemorative coins for like 150% of the spot price. And then when they try and sell them, they realize they can't get their money back. They've been scammed. These companies are making a ton of money, and that's why they could afford to offer me $20 million a year. We wanted no part of this at all. Wouldn't mind the $20 million, but we turned it down because that's wrong.
Yeah, he's covering a lot of information. His most recent interview with, I think, Battalion Gold or Metal or something. It's the trader's a name, and the information is enormous. It covered a lot of the history of gold, why we use gold, what is money, how does the fiat currency works, and what happened in 1973, blah blah blah, and eventually what's going on with the current financial world. There are a lot of information, a lot of homeworks needs to be done. But Miles has mentioned many times, initially we didn't know anything about the financial world either. We don't know how this stock market and how this money system works. And Miles has been telling us that, the current gold price has been determined by a small group of people, and it has been manipulated because of the financial stability or other purposes. And nowadays, because of the inflation and the overprint of these QE program, we have so much debt, so much money, so much M0 money supplies around the world. It looks like the actual gold price, if not going to the real one, but it will be adjusted right now. But what does that mean? Can CCP take advantage of this to undermine the West or the U.S. system? That's a big question. Miles says yes. So we're gonna first go to Chris for some background. I know, Chris, you have collected some information from Miles' video, and could you share with us what you think, please? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the ultimate goal of the CCP is to destroy the United States of America. So before destroying the United States of America, there will be many methods and means. And gold is also one of the means used by the CCP to destroy the United States. I call it the gold unrestricted warfare and the financial unrestricted warfare, a hybrid unrestricted warfare. And Mr. Miles Guo exposed and reminds the United States that the CCP will use lobbying method to make countries withdraw the gold stored in the United States and instead store the gold in Hong Kong under the CCP's control. Furthermore, the CCP will provide zero interest loans, which is equivalent to buying the gold stored in the United States without the CCP having to pay money to Americans. And the withdrawal of gold will expose the hollowing out of the U.S. gold reserve. If multiple countries follow suit, this symbolizes a gold crisis of trust in the United States. shaking the status of the US dollar as a reserve currency and leading to foreign countries reducing purchase of a US bond, increasing US borrowing costs. That also means soaring interest rates, thereby triggering a worsening of the fiscal deficit and uncontrolled inflation in order to destroy the US economy. If this trend continues, it will pose a long-term threat. And Mr. Miles Guo, Mr. Tucker Carlson, and Mr. Chris Olsen all shared consistent view on the CCP and regard the CCP as a threat to the United States. The CCP utilized plans such as the Belt and Road Initiative to manipulate 10 to 15 countries into transferring their gold to Hong Kong, manipulate the market, intensify the offshore of industries from the United States, cause the hollowing out of the American economy, and accelerate America's decline. And Mr. Miles Guo, Mr. Tucker Carlson, and Mr. Chris Olsen all agreed that the end of the Bretton Woods system and the departure from the gold standard was a mistaken policy. Central banks of various countries have been printing money without the restrictions, which has thereby caused inflation. All three predicted the future collapse of fiat currency, with gold surging greatly. And they all view gold as the true wealth to combat inflation and to combat systemic enslavement. To avoid the risks, one of the best ways is to purchase physical gold. If the CCP continues to exist, then the CCP will continue to absorb gold, weaken the dollar, and weaken the United States. So the gold demand will rise. But also that in the future, after taking down the CCP because of cryptocurrency technology and to avoid inflation caused by unrestricted money printing, we can peg the money standard to cryptocurrency. Therefore, even after we take down the CCP, physical gold will still be needed and gold demand will still rise. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris, for this introduction. And I think there's tons of information you can search in NFSC and also Miles' previous videos. If you try to search it in using the getter function, and there should be plenty of video for more details. Exactly step by step how he described the CCP's role. So we know that the financial system has been a problem. The biggest collapse is quite a while ago, 2008, and I still remember that because I just graduated fresh from school, and it's really hard at that time to find a job because the employment rate was super high, and the stock market collapse didn't affect me at that time. But I still remember a lot of my former colleagues keeping telling me that you need to be prepared for this. This is the problem of capitalism and blah blah blah, and a lot of things. And looking at history, I think we're at a kind of a similar point there. But most of the previous crisis has been due to cyclics. The economy has cyclics because of the Fed decisions. But now we have another player from the outside. The CCP is trying to destroy all of us, from actually inside of the West, and we need to be more careful. So in this time, we'll pass the time to Mr. True for more elaboration and his thought on the CCP and how we can protect ourselves.
Thank you, Zi. Thank you, Chris, for your valuable information. Lay up a summary and narratives about what really the purpose. I think here with the CCP and the role they have played. So number one, they have intentionally caused 10 to 15 countries shift the gold reserve traditionally put in the store of the Federal Reserve in the United States. But of course, that we had hear a story, see the news that when he was asked to audit the Feds, the gold, but somehow it wasn't. It was Elon Musk, the Doge department, trying to do a audit on the gold, but it didn't happen. We didn't see the reserves and so on, and then nothing happened. So maybe there isn't enough reserve there already. When you don't peg to the gold after the Greenwood system resolved, countries like the United States, when you issue currencies, you don't peg to gold anymore. So which means you can really printing a lot of money without any limitations. Okay, if you say you have that pegging the money with the petrodollar, and then the usability is high where the value is when the market use it. But now we know that with the world in the chaos, especially after CCP have engaged themselves in one belt, one road, and also engaged in the trading, also become one of the world's biggest supplier in this whole global supply chain into the world economy, especially with the United States. So what we're seeing is CCP have gradually gaining control of the United States dollars. Okay, there's studies and so on, and they also have secretly in the island called the Hulou Dao Island in northeast China, a Moscow whistleblower that the CCP actually can printing American dollars exactly looks the same, okay, and with the serial number on it, and what they use that for? They use that for money laundering, and also giving countries like North Korea to buy in the black market whatever goods they needed, and also send that to the Middle East, so they can use that to buy weapons and so on. I mean, it's in circulating, and it was said even the Fed technical officials could not see the difference between what the CCP have printed. So you can't imagine how many money they've been printing, and the US dollars, of course, with oversupply, it will be devalued, and most importantly, they won't give to any poor people. So it's just the One Belt, One Road projects. So given that, I think the inflation, food inflation, global inflation is getting much higher. But even without that, CCP, it was said that during the COVID-19 lockdowns, they have printed double the money over the last, during that 2 years, equivalent to all the accumulated printing combined by that time. So virtually they doubled the global currency supply, the Federal Reserve. So that's the news that we've been hearing, and maybe not 100% accurate in figures, but very much the concept is the same. Most of the countries, they have printed more money than whatever they already had, without any. That's the consequence. In one side is because when you detach it from gold peg printing money, that's the water problems. So you're printing notes just without the essence. It's like, as Carlson just mentioned, it's like you make a gold products, okay, and you sell for 1.5% of the times, especially to old person who value, if they've gone through the World War II, they probably, even the baby boomers, they probably value more gold on the fear that the inflation is there, okay? So I think the same technique applied to the traditional banking system that we've been using still now. Countries can create the credit by assuming they have the gold reserves. I mean, they learned from the United States, right? I mean, of course, it's not very hard understanding in terms of how the economics works. You have some valuables which everyone recognized like a gold or precious metals, and then you can therefore printing money to match the reserve. So that's in one side of the story. So, but the other side is the intention of the CCP, what it is, why they do that, why they control, gold as one of the top most valued commodities, okay, which can be easily cashable in the exchanges for actual money now, like $5,000 per ounce, nearly around that figure. So why they need so much credit? I think it is easily understandable when you understand how the whole global market works, okay? And so once the gold value is that high, they get so much gold, they can easily engage a global currency war and the gold war by short sell it. By short sell what? By first of all buying the gold, showing the gold reserves on the trading as a credit, and then buy the US dollars enough where when they short US dollars, that's it. The whole currency, the whole financial system market will crash. This have so much consequences. Your pension fund, all the money will be just disappeared, and then that will leave a huge big chaos and shock like a tsunami in the financial system. If they also engage in also the Bitcoin to short sell in the same time, so the market couldn't handle that. Just Lehman Brothers alone, that will create the big shock waves in the U.S. economy many years ago. We can still remember that. But this time, it will be 10 or 100 times bigger than that impact. We don't know. That chaos will cost. It could cost, wars around. I mean, often when people trying to find to fight for values, right? So I think because at this stage we don't know what the CCP, what the consequence is. We know that the CCP have to engage in war with the United States, and then what kind of strange bullets they hold. They hold the bullets such as gold. So we have to watch very carefully and make sure they stop. There is a mechanism, right? If you do the trade, I mean, I'm sure that the New York's, the Dow Jones, the stock exchange can actually artificially stop the trading and withheld the trading, just let the shock waves go and then resume the trading again. So there are many different ways to defend, but you should never underestimate the CCP's evil and the intention to basically disable the biggest trading system, which is in the United States, and plus cryptocurrencies. Okay, so I think I'll just stop here. We'll leave an open end for Zi to continue. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Chu. Already a lot of discussions, and I forgot to do this in the opening. This is not a financial advice. We're not talking about the investment advices, blah blah blah. You have to remember all the investments have risks. Even like according to the video or mouse information, even, according to many information, the gold price and silver price has been significantly undervalued. But does that mean the investment will get certain returns? We cannot guarantee that. We're not financial advising program, but we're here to describe the truth. There is also some information I think Mr. Chu and also Chris mentioned earlier. Is the Communist China, the CCP, has been trying to store secretly increasing their gold reserves, and their official number is like a 2,000 something ton right now. Shows a very low number, but the actual number, according to the NFSC intelligence, this number could be much higher. Could be one order of magnitude higher, 20,000, maybe even more. So which means that the CCP has been they can just cornerstone the market and without any significant efforts. So and what that would happen to the whole confidence of the West system, current all the governments and everything, it's probably going to create a lot of financial chaos, and it's really hard to predict because humanities are difficult to predict, and we're not in a position to predict that. But what we want to do is just be prepared and know what it is. And I read some books recently, actually a while ago. There are several books and by what's his name? Murray Rothbard. It's very, very good. It's not very complicated. It's actually talking about the history and basic fundamentals that everybody can remember, can understand. What is banking? What is money? What does that mean? One of the long book is like the mystery of banking. It's really good. It covers a lot of history from the U.S. banking system, the world banking system, and he even put some pathways to the future banking, differently. Why we need to worry about this talk today? Because our current financial system has flaws. It was designed to do this work. The Federal Reserve started the founding of the U.S. Federal Reserve and other central banks a few hundred years ago. It is determined that this reserve banking system will gradually causing inflation, and every 8 years, 10 years, or 12 years, whatever, around a decade time, it will collapse because of the reserve are trying to use the interest rate as a leverage to turn on and slow down the economy. And previously, it worked fine. It's not too bad. Even 2008, a lot of people go bankruptcy, but we can still make a living. But nowadays, it's different. The CCP's goal is to completely destroy the current system and build a totalitarian regimes, maybe a worldwide government that will control everybody's money. Everybody, if they control the money, they control everything. So we need to be extremely careful on that. So the most important piece of information we like to deliver as NFSC whistleblower is we help to warn the world about the evil plan from the CCP. Don't let the CCP destroy your life, destroy your family, destroy the democracy. So hopefully you can do more work. There's so much information we definitely cannot cover in this 30 minutes program. But please do your homework and please understand, why Mao School has information, why Mao School want to save the world and destroy the CCP. Okay, so I think hopefully from a high level I covered pretty much what I have, and we still have a few more minutes. Maybe we start with Chris and then Mr. Trues for more comments, and we can wrap up. So let's go with Chris.
Okay. So the actual price of gold and silver are severely undervalued, and now it's still an affordable price to get in. So before the CCP is taken down, the CCP will trigger a financial crisis to attack the United States and also to attack the world. So to hedge against the risks, gold and silver are a good method. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So what I want to add that because the US dollars has been so-called credit currency, so when the line of credit has been over leveraged, and it make the whole system have loopholes and very weak, it make the manipulation from foreign countries such as CCP, okay, through many years tradings, they have gathered so many trading surplus, which means they're holding US currencies, okay? So once you become, very heavyweighted currency holder for the United States, for the US dollars, then you become like the shareholder, like you have your say. But of course, CCP is not going to be on the board of directors to make decisions such as fiscal policy and the financial interest rates to direct so-called the economic cycles of inflation and recovery, or those man-made ones now we know. Okay, so itself, I think this system of global currency supply, so far we realize what it is. It has a loophole. So it actually enslave every taxpayers and currency users. Okay, you pay the value by the currency. For example, when we look at just compare with those African countries, some countries like a small dictatorship country, they issue the currency, but then suddenly, you hear that they cannot buy a piece of you cannot buy an apple unless you're holding like a big bag full of the currency, which weighted like 30 kilo or 40 kilo. I mean, the printing money probably more than the apple itself. Well, used to be just one note, maybe 1 million peso or 1 million pound or something. This is the case. I mean, when there's no check, no balance on how much currency you're going to printing, which is of course the secret of the deep state who have the interest on, they're going to charge you as interest. That's what it is. So Miles Score said that just a few of them, with that, they, we know Federal Reserve is not owned by the government. It's independent, like private corporations. What gives them the right, first of all, to charge so much money, okay, where they deserve that? Should that become a national asset? But there are many problems, so loopholes there. I think now it's a perfect time, since CCP trying to kill Americans, take American down, want to become the world number one superpower. I think we're in a currency war with that. Yes. Every war, when you started, you're always gonna, make the ordinary people, taxpayers, more poor with the cycles man-made, plus unemployment rate rocking high, and the social unrest as well. So I think the best thing for humanity is we're gonna find another way, not led by the CCP strategy and not become like a double hijacked by the currencies. Rather, we're going to go through different ways. For example, maybe cut down the communication networks from Beijing and from CCP related or cooperation to United States telecommunication network. So i.e. they cannot hack you, not hack your countries. And that's number one. Number two, maybe just to nail down who those secret operatives of these islands that entered to United States illegally, and pinpoint them out, and just make sure they don't start with the guerrilla wars once the whole conflict there escalate. And number three, what we need to do is really waken everyone up, and then don't respond to the market. Really, the market can do anything, but then we don't have to be on the market, okay? We just do still what we do, so let them do a solo show and see what happens. So the best wish is probably proactively engage in the exercises once the war start. I mean, attacking first before your enemy actually fully waken up. I mean, that's what CCP is going to do, okay? So let's hope they're too bad and the God doesn't help them at all, so they're going to get themselves destroyed. That's the best solution, best way I can see. It should happen in that way. I think they've done enough of badness, killed hundreds of millions of Chinese people themselves, okay? So from China, that's why we run out, because we're trying to avoid the CCP's evil enslavement, right? So we really think the whole system need to be gone. Thank you. Back to you, Zay.
Thank you very much, both of you. I think this is definitely really critical. I was kind of concerned or worried that if we can't deliver correct messages, eventually I think, yeah, we're not all the information we said is 100% correct. Like the numbers may be slightly off, something, but the logic behind it is correct. Is how can we survive this potential financial crisis or even global geopolitical crisis caused by the CCP? What if they try to attack Taiwan? What if there's some military conflict between China, CCP, and Japan? And what if the U.S. has to interfere with this? And what would happen to the global financial system? And it's we're still making a living. We still need to live through our lives, and also take care of our kids and families and friends, and someone we would love. And so these are all the critical questions. If you're lucky, or the audiences, hopefully they will help you to start thinking about that, and then help you to survive. And if you didn't take the CCP death shot, the so-called COVID vaccine, and you can also survive this short period of time crisis. And I think the future is bright. We have so many crises in the past decades, and all across the history. Almost every few decades, there is a small regional or major global wars or conflict. and financial collapse. It's all just happened as a cycles, and we all survived. And without the CCP, life can only be better. So that's the conclusion from Miles and from NFSC, and I mean from a little voice from me, and also my friends, our friends, Chris and Mr. True. So please stay tuned again. Next week, we're going to continue to expose more truth about the CCP. Hopefully, it help you to join us, the forces, to take down the CCP together. Thank you.
Thank you. Take down CCP.
Thank you. Take down CCP.
这些黄金就在这旁边啊，就在这旁边。就曾经我拍过，在这个美国这个情报数字中心的那边。总共在官方数据是8000多吨，在美国的曼哈顿储放说的是19个国家，实际上是29个国家啊，他们说的是不对的。在美国真正的储放的是9000多吨，不到1万吨。官方所说的现在是全世界3万吨啊，原来16000吨，现在加一起是3万吨，保守的说是3万吨啊。那么现在大家记住，全世界最有钱的国家，包括中国的啊，黄金也有在这储备的啊，39个国家，39个国家里边呢，那后边的10个国家基本上很小很小的啊。几千公斤啊，和几百公斤、几十公斤就不算什么玩意儿了，是吧？对一个国家而言，那么最厉害的是19个国家啊，占了所谓的9000吨里边的90%。这个黄金如果是被出走了，啥概念知道吗？因为现在黄金除了美国之外，还有英国，还有瑞士。瑞士的黄金很多是在英国、在美国储放的，你不要搞错了，兄弟姐妹们。共产党啊，大家一定要记住，七哥从2017年爆料就告诉大家，共产党的一带一路，所谓的啊这个马六甲是个这个战略计划。还有基普提军事基地，包括在中东的军事基地，包括对伊朗的核心战略，包括对所有的一带一路2025、2035的规划，核心目的就是干掉美元。美元完了，美国就彻底完了。哎，共产党为啥老关注这事呢？后来我发现这个货跟共产党谈的很多，就是要帮共产党建立新的亚洲，所有代替世界银行和世界货币组织，包括干掉美联储、干掉美元的一系列的计划，包括在实时的时候把美国储放的黄金给弄走。怎么又说这些国家？我那时候的关注啊，今年春节前啊，我听到内部说，共产党要开始了。拜登上台之后，登基之后先干2件事。第一个啊，不管你拜登如何，先让你拜登承认病毒跟我没关系，啊，新疆大屠杀事绝对能够摆平，贸易的事情你必须得给我重新谈，马上会谈啊，这是一条。第二条，对美国发动2个最核心的，抽回所有的投资到美国的国债的，在关键的时候就砸下去这一锤子啊，让美国股票股市砸下去，必须制造美国的金融股市危机，回到2008年。这需要多少钱知道吗，战友们？3000亿美元就够了。共产党完全有这能力，3000亿美元就够了，绝对砸下去。同时，在这个领域里面干第2件事啊，就是这个第2条最关键一条，劝服所有的国家把这黄金弄走，弄哪去？存到中国去。给啥条件呢？在美国储放是很少很少的钱，几乎不拿钱。他们中共给的许诺是：你存一个，我放一个，我让你跟我一起来监管，我让你和我一起监管。你存1吨黄金，我给你1吨黄金的贷款。你看这美国哪能赢啊？就是你像德国啊。荷兰、比利时、瑞士、委内瑞拉、罗马尼亚、奥地利、俄罗斯、斯洛伐克、意大利、土耳其、澳大利亚、法国、匈牙利，这个地方啊，15个国家已经答应了，19个国家也都签署协议了。你在我这存1吨黄金，我给你相1吨黄金的美元配套贷款，或者是以瑞元的配套的贷款，是多少利息呢？0，等同一块呢把你的黄金给买走了，而且东西还是你的。共产党真牛！你知道设计了方案的人是谁吗？现在在秦城监狱的。在秦城监狱设计方案的人，他的女儿就是我们的战友，也是 GTV 的投资者。我专门跟他谈过这事儿，他说：“郭叔，你知道的太核心了。我爸爸专门跟我谈过这个事儿。我说是你爹设计的当时这个局啊 ，GTV 的投资者，他爹设计的东西现在在秦城，在秦城的西区关着呢。我就共产党知道我说的是谁，我不能说他名字啊。最近看见了吗？全世界媒体在上周开始起全面报道，要开始是时候了，受够了。Enough！ 我们要到美国看看我们的黄金在不在。8000吨也好，9000吨也好，美国储放的黄金，我真不相信真的在那儿。从过去布雷森系统1973年之后，到现在这个黄金，以货币本的黄金，我告诉你，未来黄金一定值大钱，包括银，黄金银一定不是1800，一定超过1万块美金。按今天价，一定超过1万，只是时间的问题。所有的信用纸币一定崩塌，一定崩塌。啊，就是在什么时间、什么方式的问题。那么，在美国这些黄金要没有了，那个科恩他说的是对，科恩不可能乱讲话，一点根据没有。他再好色，他不能乱讲话。拉加德当了 IMF 主席以后，最重要的啊，当时就是被警告，你敢提1次这个事情，你也完蛋。啊， 原来一个日本的，好像一个日本裔的人在这个 IMF 的货币组织也想提，最后很快就实施了。啊，这是改变世界货币命运的。美国会不会接受储存黄金？我告诉你，共产党还有更厉害的一招。共产党在美国所有的行贿的议员，我告诉大家一个某国的这个总元首啊，他说，哎 ，Miles 啊，这个共产党很聪明啊，说这个让我到美国去搞几个所谓的国会议员作为朋友。我说为什么呀？他说未来有影响力啊。他说他们为什么要对这个司法委员会、金融委员会、情报委员会、能源委员会那么关键？他特别对金融委员会啊，然后要有发起议案的议员，他实际很少钱，捐个几万美元就行了，就搞定一个。他们为什么这么干？我当时我就眼睛就亮了。哎，我说共产党是所有的准备是和未来，就是他们的要以前灭美的时候，要查美国黄金的时候，美国议员必须得有呼应。我当时就想到这点了。哎呀，我说这事有意思。哎，我说你要给我讲讲这个细节啊，他给我大致讲了讲。我知道老共已经深深的植根于准备这场战争。最近，美国最起码超过2到3个议员要提起自己人提起核查美国给外国储备的黄金，包括美国黄金，然后全世界铺天盖地在上周。所有这些国家各大媒体，包括拉脱维亚啊、匈牙利、意大利的报纸都在说，该到美国去查黄金了，该把美金拿回来了。关键问题在上一周就有7、8个国家把大量的黄金运回了国家，包括日本啊，包括日本，恐怖不？同时，美国几个议员提议要查美国黄金储备，啊，就花几万美元就可以搞定。而这是美国在2006年就开始准备的，在中共就准备的，啊，最近全开始了。战友去想想，这个结局会是什么？美元崩塌，美国经济崩塌，美国的信用崩塌。如果美国这次黄金储备出了问题，美国这个国家信用直接归零，连共产党都不如。如果共产党把这些黄金等同于用贷款现金给拿到中国去，而且这个地方放哪知道吗，战友们？黄金储备地方在哪？谁呢？香港的圣城将变成黄金之城了。Hong Kong Welcome 黄金 Gold to Hong Kong 香港大屿山啊，由共产党的所谓驻港部队来管啊，大屿山佛的西亚大屿山佛下面要建这个黄金储藏基地啊，然后呢有驻香港军营啊，西贡啊，由西贡跟那个西贡监狱旁边现在是个临时措施，从西贡监狱的侧面西贡驻港基地挪到大屿山，这是第一个报纸，没有任何人知道，第一个报纸，这个计划已经实施了6、7年了啊，这边是监狱，这边是西贡军基地，先放着，然后未来在大屿山建，而且最重要的是，所有国家军人、财政部随时可以进去看。然后给你相等额的贷款，牛了。